My name is Travis Bean, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. And I wanted to touch on something I'm a little trepidatious about this actually, because as much as I love Kanye, and as much as I consider myself an expert in Kanye music, one thing I'm not super well versed in is like music itself. Like Chris and I are both writers, and we were movie critics. That's how we met up. How we formed our professional partnership. We both wanted to write about movies at this like insane deep level. And along the way, we found out we both like Kanye, and we started doing like the same thing of Kanye's music. So we're largely lyrical guys because we're writers, and we grew up reading books and watching movies, and we're really invested in explaining things. And unless you're super well versed in music, it's kind of hard to explain music sometimes. Um, there's just aspects of music that sadly, I don't think we're super well versed to speak about. And one of the things I've always noticed with Kanye is while I love dissecting his production and the playing like a musical theorist, like the musical theorist in me that looks at the music and tries to find the meaning of him like using a certain sample or using the sound. I'm not so good at like dissecting those sounds on a technical level and figuring out when like a mix is bad, poorly done. So when people talk about the mixing on Kanye's albums being really bad, I most of the time don't really know what they're talking about. I can sometimes pick out what they mean, like if they explain what they mean about a mix being bad, and I can listen to it and hear it like, oh, okay, that's something I probably wouldn't have noticed. But on a first listen, I almost never notice like the mixing or like have problems with the mixing on like a minute technical level. So I wanted to talk about the mixing issues people are talking about with Donda. As you can see here, I've got a West Sub Ever thread where what are your major minor complaints about the album? And this person notes the poor mixing. And as you go through the page, you can notice that other people are talking about the mixing. The sequencing, censoring, and mixing is bad. Some of the songs have strange mixing decisions. Mixing is bad sometimes. The mixing of the choir and Hurricane. Like I recognize like all of these things people are saying. Like I know what they mean about the choir, how it comes in, it doesn't feel full bodied and like part of the weekend, like we heard at the listening parties, it then cuts out abruptly. That is, to me, that's a decision someone made and not just like something somebody did and messed up, with the mix, which I feel is like what a lot of people say sometimes is that like, oh, like bad mixing decisions were made. Like this was made in a rush. Like this mix isn't good. And as I go through West Sub Ever, I can see that a lot of people are saying that like they're undoubtedly mixing issues. A lot of the times it's vague like that. Like I don't know exactly what that means. And I was texting Jordan about this. People, longtime listeners of the show know that Jordan C. Johnson has come on the show several times and has staunch Kanye opinions. And he phrased it in a way that made it make a little more sense for me. He said, and I'm not showing this on my screen, I'm just reading it myself. Just that all the sounds feel like they're on one flat level of volume. The vocals are mixed way too high, no boom or depth to the soundscape because it's all too boosted. And hearing that description made me kind of realize it a little more and want to investigate a little more deeply about whether any changes were actually made to the mix, because that's one aspect of Kanye history that has, at least for the past few albums, has been a prominent part, where people complain about the mix and then we actually do get new mixes of songs. The Life of Pablo was a little different. Like we got full on new songs, like thinking about feedback and how much that changed and how much he ripped out like those feedbacky sounds and made it just go like a little harder and put more bass in there. Him changing lines on Father Stretch My Hands. Like he made a lot of decisions like that. But I think Jesus is King, as you can see here, it happened with Jesus is King and The Life of Pablo, where Jesus is King did get a lot of new mixing done, and a lot of what people considered to be a poor mix was fixed. Again, I'm not super well versed in what those changes are, but I see that narrative a lot on Kanye discussions. As you can see, someone else complained about the mix. So what I wanted to do here and now as a bit of an update, even though I'm not super well versed in mixing, I think I'm pretty good at listening to a song and seeing if a mix has changed. So I don't know if it would have been updated on Spotify yet, but I wanted to go through some of the songs that are on Spotify and see if they sound any different than the tracks I just re-downloaded from Kanye's site. So I bought the album yesterday, and now I assume that if the mix is updated, it'll become available for download on KanyeWest.com. So I'm going to sit here and listen to it. One of the ones I thought stuck out to me was Believe What I Say, when Jordan was talking about all of the levels being boosted and being a little bit too out front. So I'm going to listen to Believe What I Say here. I don't think you can hear it on. Okay, good. I don't want to get taken down for copyright infringement. So I'm going to listen to this really quick. I love this song, by the way. It's like, it might be top 5 for me in this album. It's probably not very fun to just watch me bop into this, is it? Man. All right, turn it up a little. All right, now let's switch to Apple, where I've just updated the album. What was the song I was listening to? Yeah, Believe What I Say. All right, let's see. It's a little louder on here. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit and see if I can. All right, stop there, go back here. At least in this part, I don't hear a big difference or any difference. Let's go forward a little. Here, let's try the sample. Here, let me try it over here now. Oh, it's over here. Doesn't sound any different to me. Let me try Hurricane. That is one thing I noticed about Kanye's vocals on Hurricane is, while I think sometimes he purposely buries his vocals to convey a point thematically, Hurricane I found kind of strange. Like, he feels really buried and quiet, especially compared to The Weeknd in The Choir. So I'm going to listen to it on Apple first. Skip the Kanye part. Yeah, he still sounds pretty faint. Yeah, and it's like that. It's so strange to think that I've just never noticed Kanye's verse on Hurricane sounding like that, because I've always heard it in the live setting on the listening parties. But yeah, he sounds just like really like he's almost singing on a shitty microphone and like singing really loud in a terrible room for it. That it's not like a great room for sound. So it's, and I think on Hurricane, I'm sure it'll sound the same. Yeah, it still does. Okay. So let's do one more. Off the Grid was one I noticed that where the vocal seemed really heavy. Skip to the. Yeah, his vocals are pretty in line with the music. Like, it does feel kind of like an overload. So let's go to Off the Grid here. See if it's any different. Yeah, sounds the same to me. Still a banner, man. So obviously I'm not the best trustworthy source on this matter, but please use the comment sections to talk about this, and I'll interact with you guys, and you can educate me a bit on what exactly is wrong with some of the mixing. And if anyone has any updated files that sound different to you, please let us know. As far as my musically untrained ear can tell right now, it sounds the same. But hopefully, Kanye has the power and capacity to change some of the mixing if it really is technically bad. And people are here. I mean, enough people are talking about it that like there probably is some truth to it. So yeah, let's keep the conversation going and let us know if like anything you notice really changes, because I noticed this comment on Twitter yesterday, and at Ghetto Spell was talking about how Ghetto Go Spell was talking about how the mixing had changed and it's 100 times better, but then a bunch of people were still saying like, no, it's just a placebo effect, like nothing's actually different. And that's kind of how I feel. I can't tell a difference. So let's see. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a difference and you guys can hear it. So let's talk about it. And please use the comment sections here and talk to us on Twitter. However you can contact us, just do it, because we need help when it comes to the mixing stuff and the technical stuff in music. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and comment. And check out our podcast, Watching the Throne, where we go through all of Kanye's songs, line by line, which we will soon be doing for Donda. And man, that is going to be a wild experience. Stay wavy.